Hi, this is the Professional Amateur Hour coming to you with another review. This week I checked out The Blood of Heroes, and this 1989 movie was directed by David Webb's People and stars Rutger Hauer, Joan Chen, and Delroy Lindo, among others, of course. The story of this movie takes place in the post-apocalyptic world of Earth, 1,000 years after it's ended. So it's really just kind of like desert everywhere. There are a few small towns, and they get this form of entertainment in them called The Game. And The Game is like kind of an ultraviolet version of football where everyone's just kind of like wailing on each other the whole time. And the story itself is about this woman, and she wants to join a team and fight her way up to the major leagues. So she joins a team, does some training, fights in the minor leagues, and hopefully makes it to the major leagues. Will she, though? Well, you have to watch the movie and find out. Alright, so let's discuss this movie. Well, this movie was kind of like a white whale for me for a long time. I had the most difficult time trying to find it in the past until one day recently I just came across it randomly. And so I was pleasantly surprised to see it. And with that being said, I do kind of think this one is like a kind of a forgotten masterpiece. It is really good, I think, really well put together. The whole world itself is really interesting, just in this desert and these little small towns. And the game itself, I'll talk about the game in a moment, but that's like one of the better parts of this world. And there's also not only just small towns, there's also underground cities, and the way they depict those are really cool. It seems like they have to like get in an elevator and just go down and down and down for like a day or something, or at least enough time to like sleep. And the way they kind of show it, it's like a descent into hell and that type of stuff. So much of the visual aspect in this just makes a wonderful watch. With that being said, the game itself is very wonderfully done in this one. There's no name for the game itself, but the players are called Juggers for some reason. I don't know. But it seems to have like consistent rules. There's consistent positions and what these positions can do and when they can attack each other at what times. And all of that goes together to really, show a retention to detail that really does help this movie. And the name of the game is basically just violence, group violence to each other. And they're like really trying to hurt each other. There's parts where they're like whipping chains at their kneecaps and stuff and like taking kneecaps out and just like, mangling each other so that they won't be able to, play again and that type of stuff. And so it's really violent as well, which just goes into, this post-apocalyptic world. And they're coming out of it, they're bleeding, they're scarred, they're getting scars all the time. There's characters, half their faces all messed up and scarred. And so all the stuff that has to actually do with the game itself is really well done. It really kind of brings this world alive. The game itself, maybe I'll explain it a little bit. Essentially what it is it's just a big fight. There's like 3 people with like sticks, and they fight the other 3 people with sticks. There's one person with like a chain that they whip around, and they kind of fight the other person with a chain and protect this like runner quick person. I think the position is called a quick. And their job is to get this dog skull and put it on a stick, and that's their whole mission. But they're just allowed to like beat the person to death like while they're trying to get the skull from the other person. And so it's just so violent. But I don't know, in a post-apocalyptic world like this, you can totally see this like ultra violent sport just kind of, I don't know, just manifesting itself as entertainment, right? And so yeah, the sport itself is a big part, and it should be. It's really well done. I don't know why I enjoyed this like kind of sporting movie in the post-apocalyptic world. I would never like imagine that even too. Like, why would you even have like a post-apocalyptic sport movie? There's tons of sport movies like, I don't know, Saturday Night Lights and all that different type of stuff that, it's a football team and that type of stuff. But sports in the post-apocalyptic world, like, I never knew that I was missing that from my life until I watched this movie. So yeah, that was really cool. Also, the makeup and the design of everything really does work. All the costumes are wonderful. They have all of their kind of jugger gear. They have to carry it on their backs. And they have like a coach, and he just has like a wardrobe on his back. And that's, I don't know, just funny design for me. They have the underground cities. And again, you have to go there by elevator. So it's just like a wooden box that you walk into, and that's the elevator. And all of that just very well designed. The makeup, as I mentioned, is really well done. There's people with so many scars. There's a bunch of people with just messed up faces, little, I don't know, metal plates in their head, all that different type of stuff. And so the work that goes into that definitely shows, and it comes across on screen as something that really does work for this world. And lastly, just like any good sporting movie, the characters and the story is really what keeps you. And this one has some great characters. They're all very unique, kind of very prideful as well. And you can see why they're prideful. You can see what they're, trying to attain and that type of stuff. There's even some sympathetic ones as well. There's this one character called Dog Boy who's kind of left behind, but he's such a wonderful character. I was really missing him after he was gone. But yeah, all of the characters, the main character, Joan Chen, plays an excellent role there. Rutger Hauer does an excellent job with his characterization. And even with just what happens and about how he doesn't want to have all this pride, but then something happens and he has all this pride again, or at least wants to, challenge his old nemesis and that type of stuff. So all that just works well to really get you involved in the story and that you really want to root for this team, just like, again, any good sporting movie, right? It's just weird that it's in the post-apocalyptic world. So yeah, all of that really does work. And that brings me to what doesn't work with this film. Well, not much really. I really did enjoy this one. When it did start, I kind of had a problem with their equipment. All of their equipment is made from like rubber tires. So like the only thing that really existed or survived the apocalypse was rubber tires, and they just use it in their stuff. And they have like rubber bands and type of stuff, which of course just breaks, very easily, or at least, with wear and tear. And so it kind of seems strange that all of their stuff was made from just rubber tires. It works for the aesthetic, but I don't know where they're getting these rubber tires. There seems to be like nothing in this desert. And so that was an issue, but again, you kind of forget that. You just go along with it. Once they put on their equipment, you're there for the violence, right? And so that is pretty good. Other than that, this movie does actually have a few other names. I think in Australia it was called The Salute of the Jugger, and the Jugger again is the player's name. Or like that's all the players are just called Juggers. And I think in German it was like Die Jugger, the Juggers. And so it just seems like a strange thing to call these people. Like there's no even name for the game. Why would you have a name for the players in the game? I don't know. And that I think kind of made it people not go see it. Like, who knows what a Jugger is? No one's going to go see it because they're looking for the Juggers, right? And so yeah, I think that's also kind of a detrimental thing to probably its marketing, but the blood of the heroes, that works for me, so it is what it is. So who would I recommend this movie for? Well, of course, if you love the post-apocalyptic stuff, then totally check this one out. It's a very interesting take how it's like a sporting movie in this world. That's really cool. So it's not just about survival or anything like that. It's really about kind of living in the post-apocalyptic world rather than, just surviving. So it's really cool that way. So do try to check it out if you can. As for rating, well, I made a new category for this one, and it is the extra good category of a 7.8. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.